Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the video game The Evil Within, also known as Psycho Break in Japan. It's a survival horror video game developed by Tango Gameworks and released by Bethesda Softworks. It was also directed by Shinji Mikami, the creator of the Resident Evil series. Starting off the game, The Evil Within, I was presented with two levels of difficulty, one being casual and one being survival. From my understanding of their descriptions, one was easy and one was medium, and being the ambitious man that I am, I chose medium to give me more to work for. I now regret that decision full-heartedly. The difficulty of this game is on an unreal level, and it didn't come from my weapons being weaker or the enemies being stronger, but came from bad video game design and a frustrating environment. Maybe I would have had a better time with this game if I had gone with casual, but let's take a look at the main problems that I was facing with The Evil Within. When playing a horror survival game, you can find yourself sneaking around as stealth is sometimes a major part of this type of genre. Though in The Evil Within, the game did not adjust its camera angles at all when you were sneaking around a level or a building. When hiding behind a rock or a wall, the camera was staring right at the back of the character, instead of adjusting to look over the wall, and this fact cost me my life way too many times. The Evil Within did not explain much to me in the beginning of the game. And the menu had very little content. When it came to an item or weapon or control description, I was kinda out of luck. I actually learned more from dying and reading the loading screen than I did in any part of the game itself. This led to a very frustrating beginning adjustment period, and almost made me turn off the game right then and there. However, I drove on and was confronted with even more problems with the game, one being the environment of the levels. In survival horror games, one must often look to the environment around you to kill or avoid your enemies because of your lack of ammo. However, The Evil Within missed the mark almost completely. There were bombs mounted on walls in the game that would go off due to motion detectors. You could sneak past them, but to my surprise, when I lured my enemies past these deadly traps, they didn't set them off at all. Instead, I had to use my precious ammo to detonate the bombs, which was confusing to me, and felt like the game missed out on a great opportunity to use the environment around you. Things placed in the level to deter me from moving forward or fleeing backwards, like bear traps, seemed random and unnatural. I mean, for Pete's sake, there were bear traps on the second floor of buildings. There were times when you used your surroundings to kill enemies or advance forward that were clever, but I didn't have a chance to feel enjoyment from them, from being so frustrated at what I had to go through to get to where I was. There was no gratification from completing anything in The Evil Within. Bosses in The Evil Within were frustratingly hard and had no real attack patterns, so I could never walk away from beating one of them with a sense of, I did this through my own skill and wit. Rather, it seemed like I beat them that time by luck. Now, I understand that in survival horror games, conserving ammo is one of the biggest obstacles in the game, and one of the key factors in what makes up the genre. But The Evil Within might have taken it too far with just how little ammo I had going into major boss fights or fighting off hordes of enemies with frustrating environment tricks to advance me. And even when you did conserve your ammo, you were punished by a limited amount of ammo that you would carry, which was painfully low. Now, besides the gameplay, the storyline of The Evil Within was one-dimensional and boring, and the characters and cutscenes were just the same.
Detectives, I know you're just coming off a case, but I'm afraid we're gonna have to make a detour.
Sounds serious. Is it a riot?
A call went out just before I picked you up. Said it was multiple homicides.
Music and the audio was forgettable, and the visual of the game could be interesting and scary at times, but it mostly just seemed bland, even for a horror game. In some levels, when accompanying a companion AI, I just found myself running around trying not to die while my limitless ammo buddy with 100% accuracy killed everyone for me. It felt like the best idea at the time, and it worked, but I walked away feeling no accomplishment. One thing I did like about the game was the boss fight with Bone Leora, which did everything right. I used my surroundings perfectly and walked away with it with a feeling of I did this with my own understanding of what the game needed me to do. And it felt like why couldn't the rest of the game follow this pattern more? Unfortunately, I did not enjoy The Evil Within. Though, if you're looking for a game with a high difficulty level and you have a tremendous amount of patience, and you don't care much for a driven storyline and likable characters, then The Evil Within might be a game for you. Sadly, I would have to give this game a 5.5 out of 10, and hopefully Shinji Mikami can pick himself up and continue to create amazing games for this genre. Okay, well that's it for today, guys. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing video game reviews by GameStar.
Leslie, you're safe. Where's
Kid.
Kidman? Is she here too?
Kid.
Is she all right?
Is she alright? Alright?
Stand back. I'll get it open.